The title of this chapter is The Divisions of Faith. Okay. The divisions of faith. So again, Bhagavad-gita chapter 17, texts 5 and 6. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish, and who torture the material elements of the body, as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. This is a good definition Krishna has given about what constitutes demoniac mindset. So, purport by His Divine Graces Confounded Acharya, Srila A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Srila Prabhupada ki. Seems that I have some problem with my throat today. There are persons who manufacture modes of austerity and penance which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions. For instance, fasting for some ulterior purpose, such as to promote a purely political end, is not mentioned in the scriptural directions. The scriptures recommend fasting for spiritual advancement, not for some political end or social purpose. Persons who take to such austerities are, according to Bhagavad-gita, certainly demoniac. Their acts are against the scriptural injunctions and are not beneficial for the people in general. Actually, they act out of pride, false ego, lust, and attachment for material enjoyments. By such activities, not only is the combination of material elements of which the body is constructed disturbed, but also the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself living within the body. Such unauthorized fasting or austerities for some political end are certainly very disturbing to others. They are not mentioned in the Vedic literature. A demoniac person may think that he can force his enemy or other parties to comply with his desire by this method, but sometimes one dies by such fasting. These are not approved by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and He says that those who engage in them are demons. Such demonstrations are insults to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are enacted in disobedience to the Vedic scriptural injunctions. The word achetasaha is significant in this connection. Persons of normal mental condition must obey the scriptural injunctions. Those who are not in such a position neglect and disobey the scriptures and manufacture their own way of austerities and penances. One should always remember the ultimate end of the demoniac people are described in the previous chapter. The Lord forces them to take birth in the wombs of demoniac persons. Consequently, they will live by demoniac principles life after life without knowing their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If, however, such persons are fortunate enough to be guided by a spiritual master who can direct them to the path of Vedic wisdom, they can get out of this entanglement and ultimately achieve the supreme goal. Gyana jana salakaya saksur militam jena tasmai si gurube namaha suchaitanya manobistam safitam yena bhutale swayam rupam kadamayam dadati swa padantikam. Vandasi Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Sahodatu Kudutaya Puspavantu Chitu Chandu Tamon Vancha Kalpataribhya Cha Kripa Sundubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Sri Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So welcome to 26th Avenue. We find in contemporary society and even in ancient times that when some people have a need to be fulfilled, they resort to heavy penances, austerities. It is very common to find people fasting as much as their body strength will allow, because they want to achieve something. There's nothing wrong in fasting, but if we fast, say, on the days that are recommended in the scriptures, say we fast on Ekadasi, and that is not even very strenuous, because all that is required is that you refrain from grains, and there is a reason for refraining from eating grains on Ekadasi. Those of you who do not have the Ekadasi calendar, you should check it out on the web, on the internet, on the World Wide Web. That is where you can get practically everything these days. So when you get the Vaishnava calendar, there are people who do all of these checks and calculations. There's the G-Cal. I use the G-Cal. So that's the Gaudiya Vaishnava calendar. So we have specific days to fast, and those days are recommended in the scriptures. Now, if we fast for the sake of fasting, for whatever purpose, it's not recommended in the scriptures. And the specific days, for instance, on Janmashtami, you fast till midnight. Some people, they don't eat at all. On Ekadasi, you fast till the next day. Some people, they don't eat at all. These are recommended fasting days. And we gain a lot, not only by purifying our mind and our senses. What happens with fasting on fasting days is that when we do fast, the mind is compared to the face of a mirror. When the mirror is dusty, it is not very useful, because you can't see a reflection in the mirror. A mirror is basically for, for dressing. Looking at yourself, before you go out, you look at the mirror, see how your tilak is, or if you're going for an official job, you see how cute you look with all of your, with all of your dressing, your tie, if you're a female, your makeups and all these things, you watch to see whether they're, it's okay. But if the mirror is dusty, for instance, if you live in remote places where the roads are not so much tarred, they're not so good, and the road is dusty, very easily the mirror gets dusty. And so you don't benefit so much with a dusty mirror. So the mirror, if you want to use it, you need to clean it with some cloths, and then you can see everything could be seen very clearly. And the idea of cleaning the mirror is to be able to have proper reflection. So the idea of fasting is also to enhance the cleansing of the mirror of the mind. Our mind and our sensory modalities, they are in a state of limbo. Sometimes, people, we're very proud to say, this is what my mind tells me. This is what I'm going to do. But if what your mind tells you is not, if you don't weigh that, if you don't relate that to the scriptures, what mind is telling me now, is it recommended in the scriptures? If we don't relate what our mind is telling us, if we don't relate what we are thinking and what we are feeling to the scriptures, it's so easy to be drifted to this mindset of demoniac mindset. So this is very important for us because we have acquired material bodies. It doesn't matter how big your material body is, whether it is a small body, a kid's body, 5 years old body, or it's 80 years old body. It's a material body that is considered of mind, intelligence, and ego as subtle material elements, the subtle body. And these are the fundamental elements that pivot our activities. Although we may say the physical body, but the physical body is just, it's just a machine. The main thing is these subtle elements under the senses. And therefore, an intelligent person will always weigh on the scale. Is it just a balance? Otherwise, it's so easy to be driven by a demoniac mindset, to be carried away by demoniac mindset. In general, people tend to think that demons are just people with, yes, we do understand there are some demons personified, like in the scripture, in the Vedic literature, we'll find people like Hiranyakasipu. He was performing so much of austerity. The reason why he was performing austerity, he wanted Lord Brahma. He wanted to force Lord Brahma to bless him with whatever he requested. He didn't want to die. But who will blame Hiranyakasipu? Who amongst us, who wants to die? Who amongst us want to die? Yeah, I want to die. Raise up your hand. Should we blame Hiranyakasipu for performing austerity to be immortal? Why did he have to perform that austerity to be immortal and trickishly asking Lord Brahma for blessings that even Lord Brahma does not have? Imagine if you were begging someone for some money. If you beg someone whom you say is a beggar, you're begging the wrong person. If you come and meet me that, Vasudev, I need $1 million to start a business, or $500,000 to start a business, you're asking the wrong person. If you meet Atma, he may help you, but I mean, what do you have to say about that? But if you ask me, I'm another beggar, and then you're asking the wrong person. So Hiranyakasipu was asking immortality from a mortal person. Lord Brahma himself is mortal. Yes, Lord Brahma is the supreme Lord of this universe, but Lord Brahma himself is subject to death. So Hiranyakasipu performed lots and lots of heavy austerities. Self-imposed austerities. If you read the Bhagavatam, it explains how at one time, the whole devas, they become very much agitated by Hiranyakasipu's austerities. And Brahma was forced to come before Hiranyakasipu to ask, yes, what boon do you want? What blessings? What are you looking for? Hiranyakasipu said, I don't want to be killed by anybody in the house or outside or on the doorpost. I mean, outside or inside, in the water or in the air. He gets so many conditions, but so demons are very, very smart people. We have this word smart. Demons are very smart people. They're not dull-headed. They're not dull-witted people. They're super smart. So Hiranyakasipu was a super smart guy. So he made built up all of these propositions before Lord Brahma. Lord Brahma was forced to give all of these, conditions because he did not directly ask, I want to be immortal. But indirectly, that was what he was looking for. So he gave all these conditions. And why did he perform these austerities? He wanted to be immortal, not to be killed by anybody, in whatever situation. But, you know what? Of all smart people, Krishna is the smartest guy. Because even smartness is just one of the material qualities in this cosmic creation, and it's coming from Krishna. Just like strength is coming from Krishna, just like beauty is coming from Krishna. If you look into the mirror, if people tell you, "Oh, you're so cute," you remember that you're not the maker. Krishna made you to be cute. Okay? So remember the source of your cuteness. If you are very intelligent, and maybe if you worship that source, you may be cuter. If you are very intelligent, remember the source of your intelligence. Where are you getting it from? And if you worship that source, you may be more intelligent. Why not? But Lord Brahma, as a demon, Hiranyakashipu as a demon, he said, no. Every of these things is just coming from me. And I want more. That's where the problem comes. There's nothing wrong in looking for some higher qualities. But if we feel that even what we have emanates from us, and we are the source of that, then that is a problem. Otherwise, what is wrong in desiring to not to die? I don't see any wrong with that. I don't see anything wrong with that. But he says, Hiranyakashipu says, he was trying to kill his own son because the son was worshipping Krishna, or worshipping Vishnu. In other words, he told his son, look, I have Vishnu that you're worshipping. All right, I'll teach you a lesson. We'll see who is Lord Vishnu. I am the one who's going to save you, or your Lord Vishnu that you don't even see. I remember somebody was involved in sinful activities, and some holy person told this person that, look, these things you're doing, there's a lot of suffering that you're really going to face in the future in hell. So this person asks that in hell, is it only me who is going to be there? So the mentor or the guru or the speaker told him that, oh hell, there's so many people who are there, people who are really sinful, they go to hell. And then this person said, oh, that's not a big deal then. I'm not going to be there alone. So sometimes we feel contented when we think, oh, well, that place I'm going to go, there are other people there. So we want companionship. Whether in hell or in heaven, we want companionship. We don't want to be there alone. Sangha, we want. Association, we want. Otherwise, you find somebody who builds a big mansion. Still, they're not happy. They have, all the money that they could really lay a hand on. They're not happy. They want association. And I mean, this is a common thing. When someone goes to school, he goes to graduate, got a good job, got plenty of money, build a house, got very nice limousines and all. And the next thing is, when are you going to settle down? So that you can enjoy your life. You have a spouse, you have children. Because if these people are around you, then yeah, you feel that you have that fulfillment. But then again, we find that we're not satisfied with any situation in this material world. It's like a fish out of the ocean. If you take a fish, say a whale or a shark, out from the Atlantic Ocean, and you're going to put him in the White House, from the next 4 years, be POTUS, be the President of the United States. The fish will still not feel comfortable, will not be happy, because it's outside of its original habitat, water. So, Hiranyakasipu performed all of these austerities, but then he forgot that he was outside of track, out of his natural habitat, which is the spiritual world. He's in a strange place which is characterized by death, disease, old age. We want to be younger every time, isn't it? Nobody wants to get old. Nobody wants to die. So don't blame Hiranyakasipu. Don't blame the guy. He's just an epitome of our own disease conditions. We're satisfied with the life we are living here. And so, we don't want anything to interfere with our adventures. And therefore, sometimes we find ourselves performing different type of austerities, which are not recommended in the scriptures. Sahasa vidim osija. When we give up the scriptures and pursue our own self-prescribed approaches to austerities and penances, we are literally paving the way towards demoniac zone, demoniac domain. We are logging into a demoniac website. I want to log into that website. There are so many activities. And before you know, the day is over. Life is over. So, this is how Hiranyakasipu ended up his life. He was able to smartly outsmart Brahma with his intelligence. But not necessarily that he outsmarted Brahma. Brahma knew what he was doing, but his duty was, like you have a father who is there to make sure that the kids are all right. They're happy. So Hiranyakasipu is also the Brahma's child. And he performs some austerity and he comes asking, bless me with this, bless me with this. Duty of a father is to see that, they motivate the child. But at the same time, if even your father motivates you, if you're on the wrong path and the father motivates you, out of fear that you're going to become inimical towards him or you may even try to kill him. And some children, they do this. Remember the case of, this guy who built the seventh wonder of the world in India. What's his name? He put one of his sons, he threw him into jail and take over the kingship. Sometimes Hiranyakasipu throw his own father. What's the name of this demon? The one who was persecuting Krishna. Yeah, he comes out threw his own father into jail. He arrested him and put him into jail. So sometimes we are looking for children, but you never know. Sacha, you never know, isn't it? Yeah. So this material world is a place where any step you take could be dangerous. But we should not, because of that, and say, well, I will not have children. No. We want children. So the bottom line is that when we are performing activities, we should make sure we are being guided by Guru, Sadhu, and Sastra. And it becomes beneficial to ourselves. It becomes beneficial to the community. But if we do things that are based on our own whimsy, or using the words of Prabhupada, then it becomes demoniac. And that causes a lot of disturbances, ultimately disturbances to society, disturbances to the elements of this body. I remember I was reading, I think I'll mention here also, maybe some other place. I was talking about there was this sage who was performing austerity. He felt, wow, this material world, I just have to get out from this place. It's just too much of trouble. He went to the forest and performing austerities, very torturous austerities. And here, one day, the personification of all of the elements of the body, they appear before him. And they said, why are you torturing us like this? This is there in Kalki Purana. So you see, you want to perform austerities, and then you have the personifications of the elements, Bhumi, Apa, Nala, Vayu, Kam, Mana, Buddhi, Ahankar. They come before him, physically appearing before him in person, and they are demanding, why are you torturing us like this? So sometimes we may perform some austerities, and if it is not according to the scriptural injunctions, it could be something that may not yield positive results ultimately. It might be something that we are deriving some pleasure from, but austerities, normally we don't derive pleasure from austerities. Why is it austerity? Because it's something that, materially speaking, it gives us inconvenience, but we know the ultimate benefits of it. We know how it's going to help us in the future. I mean, it's like a gross example is like a child that is going to school. A number of kids, I will not generalize, but a number of kids, especially when they're early age, like 5 years or so, a number of kids. When I was 5 years, I didn't like to go to school. But I remember when I was small like that, my parents arranged for the teacher to come with my classmates, and then they came to our house and they started singing a song. They demanded that I have to come with them to school. So I had to go take a shower, change up, and then go, because the children, my classmates, they were demanding. They want me, and the children were there. They were singing all type of songs. So I didn't want to go to school. Why? Because the school, teachers, they're not your parents. They don't give you that love and affection that you derive from your parents, the comfort of the home. So it's an austerity to go to school for a number of children. But when you get mature, you realize that this is very important for me. So austerity basically is not something that gives us immediate happiness. But the austerities that is not recommended, they may be plausible, they may be, something that titillate our senses, but ultimately it's meant to destroy the world or to destroy our own good intentions. And therefore, this type of penances are not recommended in the scriptures. There are so many austerities that are recommended in the scriptures. We should follow these austerities, these principles, and regulate our senses. I'll give you a typical example. If you wake up every day at 3:30, there is a serious austerity in the 21st century. And when you wake up at 3:30, before sunrise, you have finished your first 16 rounds. You've finished. You're good to go to work. And when you're going to work, people will ask you in the office, you perform some austerity. People will ask you in the office what you ate that day. Why are you so happy? That's a good austerity. Well, you could also perform another austerity by not going to bed, by watching a movie until 3 o'clock. And then you go to sleep and wake up at 8 o'clock. And then you're not able to chant your rounds. And now the whole day as you've gone out, you're in anxiety thinking, oh, I have not chanted my rounds and I've taken initiation. I have not chanted my rounds and I've taken initiation. I'm supposed to chant 16 rounds, You neither concentrate on your job, on your studies, nor would you be able to concentrate on even the chanting. So we have to look at it. What type of austerities we want to perform? This is recommended in the scriptures. Going to bed on time and waking up on time to be able to do your sadhana before you go out. The other one is not recommended, but it's juicy. It's plausible. It gives some sense of belonging. It allows you to exercise your rights. This is my right. I have a right to stay awake to watch a movie until 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock before I go to sleep. And tomorrow is Monday. Who cares? Good austerity for you. But it's not good because it keeps your mind very unstable and it destroys your strategic plans. It destroys not only your strategic plans, your operational plans. And so we have to look at what provisions we have been given and see how we align with these provisions in the scriptures so that we will always be blissful. We will always be happy in our devotional, operational activities and our devotional strategic plans. I did some comments and questions about this. Yes, Babu.
Okay, so my question.
What's your name?
Dorian.
Dorian.
Yes. My question is a little bit abstract, but I'll try to like get.
There's no abstract question. You feel free to ask a question.
Okay. So I just want to read this last little bit of the purport where it says, "The Lord forces them to take birth in the womb of
demons."
Demon persons. They will live by demoniac principles life after life without knowing their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah.
If, however, such persons are fortunate. So right here for me is saying that now they've fallen into this cycle where they live by demonic principles. However, in the beginning it says that this person perform austerities for purposes of like fame or political ends, which to me seems like that's already in a demonic mentality. So I guess my question is, when did that cycle begin?
Okay, that's a good point. And when will it end?
Well, and then that's another thing. Like, it seems like it says you're fortunate enough. Like, so there's nothing really you can really do unless destiny or fate just happens to pull you out of that.
So that's a nice point. First point is, when did that cycle? When did it begin? Yeah, we can figure out when this cycle of birth and death started. We cannot. Our founder Acharya Prabhupada, sometimes his disciples would ask him, some of his disciples would ask him this similar question. And he would say, he would give the analogy of someone who is like in a well, in a dry well, deep down, and they throw him something to be able to come out from the well. And the important thing for him is to come out, is to, cling on that life-saving facility and come out. But if he's down there and he's asking the person who threw in the life rope, who is throwing the life rope here? That will not help him. So Prabhupada wanted us to first, he said, we can't estimate when this whole vicious cycle of birth and death started. Somehow or the other, we find ourselves in this mess. We should try by all possible avenues to extricate ourselves to decarcerate ourselves from this horrible situation where, with all our good intentions, we are forced to perform things or activities that entangle us and even create so much of discontent in the future or even immediately. So the bottom line is that devotional service gives us the impetus to be able to create avenues to decarcerate ourselves from these shackles of birth and death. This is why Prabhupada came all the way from Vrindavan, from his comfort zone. He came out from his comfort zone to start this movement. And his followers have been following up with that, even when he's left the planet. And so this is precisely what the the devotees of 26nd Avenue here, headed by Atma, this is why they are helping us to be able to remind ourselves about the need to take to devotional service, beginning with chanting Krishna's names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And when we practice this process of bhakti or loving service to Krishna, the test of time is that, and it has happened to many devotees, the test of time is that at the time of death, Krishna mentions in the Gita, Yam Yam Vapi Smaram Bhavam Tyajante Antikalevar. By this practice, we will be able to remember Krishna at the time of death. That is the whole thing. The whole process of this, I don't know, any so-called sophisticated things that people are doing is ultimately to be, for the individual to be able to remember Krishna at the time of death. And if we don't practice this devotional service, it will be very difficult to remember Krishna. If we don't practice to love someone, how are we going to remember that person? It's very impractical. So, yeah, your question, answer to your question is that when did this whole process start? We don't know. See, our system, we don't speculate. You don't say, oh, he's a big scholar, Swami, tell us. I don't know when we started this process of birth and death. Prabhupada has not mentioned when we started, so I can't speculate. But the good news is that we have a process that can enable us to become free from all of this demoniac mindset and the cycle of birth and death. And that is engaging in devotional service, beginning with chanting of Krishna's names. You chant every day?
No, I don't chant.
You should try to chant, because the chanting is what makes the great revolution. The chanting is what creates that type of fortune that we've been looking for. The chanting is what enables us to not become a victim of the mind and the senses. So many people in this world, they are very good people. They have good intentions, but there is a misconstruement in all phases of our lives because we don't even understand our pristine identity. So the chanting enables us to become purified, and we can realize that pristine identity, which will facilitate global peace. You can't give peace to someone when you are not peaceful, when you don't find peace in yourself. You can't give peace to someone. There may be so many arrangements or so many propaganda, so many frontiers or movements. But here's a simple thing. We're not asking anyone to bring money. Just come and listen and chant Krishna's name. See the difference in your life. You start chanting, 2 weeks, you see the difference in your life. 2 weeks. You meet Atma, he will show you how to chant. You get the beats and start chanting. I give you 2 weeks. If you don't find a difference, get my email from him and write me and tell me you're a liar. You see, it's difficult for you to go to a hospital to meet a doctor, and the doctor prescribes a medicine for you, and he gives you that, undaunted assurance. Go and take this medicine. It's not me. I'm giving you this prescription. You take it, you will see a difference in your problem. Doctors don't talk authoritative like that. If even they want to operate you, they want to do anything, they'll say, they can't be so authoritative. But here, I am being so authoritative. Not me. This is Krishna's authority, passed down by Prabhupada. So you try it. Go do the journey. 2 weeks, you will see a difference in your life. All right. Any other comments or questions? Yes.
If it is our constitutional position to be with Krishna and to love Krishna? Why do we have to practice it?
That's a good question. I mean, it's like I had an accident in 1990 where I had a bladder rupture and fractured pelvic bone. So I was lying in a university teaching hospital by my back for 2 months. Now, I was a young man running back and forth, but I was lying down on bed for 2 months without any mobility, without help. Now, they discovered that I may not be able to walk. So they went to get some, physical therapists to come examine me. So they provided clutches. What is the use of clutches? Clutches is to enable you to learn to walk again. I was walking before, running back and forth. Because the point is, because we are in a diseased state, we have forgotten our love relationship with Krishna. We are sick, seriously sick. So we have forgotten our pristine identity, original identity. We are misidentifying with these material bodies. And others are helping us also to do that. Others are facilitating. We have a disease, and others are the others are pumping in different type of motivations, encouragement to increase the disease. Okay? Not to reduce the fever. You have a fever, and no medicine is required. Just do anything you want to increase it. This is what we have been doing. So yeah, because we are in a disease state, so we have been covered over by the residual energy, and so we have forgotten our original loving relationship with Krishna. The process of devotional service is to allow us, to enable us to uncover that original position, that original relationship that we have with Krishna. Yeah, it's a very nice point you raised. Because, in general, it's something that we don't have. I'll give you perhaps another example. I was talking about Hiranyakasipu didn't want to die. But why does Hiranyakasipu didn't want to die? Why? Why did he not want to die? Because the soul is by nature immortal, it's eternal. It's not subject to death. So it's just natural that although the soul is engaged within a material body, the material body is subject to death. But because the soul is by nature eternal, not subject to death, so we don't like to die. We fight by all possible means to ward off death, because we are eternal by nature. And so, again, for instance, some people they like to relocate. I had one of my friends who was here before, he used to come, a young man. He relocated to another city, to the West Coast. But the parents, he was born in New York, born and bred here, he got his master's here, and then he decided he's going to the West Coast. Leaving his parents and going to the West Coast. He relocated. Why do we relocate? Why? Because the soul has been moving from one Brahmanda to the other for millions and millions of lifetimes. Brahman to Brahmite, Konya Bhagya one Jiva. The Jiva has been moving, has been relocated for many, many millions and millions of lifetimes. So, although the Jiva is engaged within this body, that tendency is still there to move, But we say in some place, we say, well, boy, I'm tired. I'm moving. I'm going to another place. Yeah, so it's a funny stuff. But this is our nature. We can relate a number of the things that we're doing or we're desiring to the nature of the soul. Soul is characteristically eternal, bliss, and knowledge. We want to enjoy. Why? You think enjoyment is a bad thing? No. But how are you looking for that enjoyment? And which place you're looking for it? That is the problem. The soul is by nature Anandamaya Bhyasat. We are by nature Anandamaya Bhyasat. We are pleasure seekers because we by nature, the soul is blissful all the time. So although the soul is engaged within this body, the body is impelled to act in accordance with the eternal nature of the soul. So we have all of these desires, but in a perverted form. And so when we get to connect with Krishna in devotional service, these perversions could become purified and our real nature could become more and more manifest. And then even the things that we like to do, I mean, sometimes it becomes so difficult to understand why some of us come to devotional service and even the things that we relish doing before, we get detested of it. It's because one becomes becoming purified and you don't have a taste for that. But if you go to the road and just start telling people about your rules and regulations, man, you're wasting your time, you're wasting their time. Because you're just giving them disturbance. Someone is not purified and telling them, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. For what? You're wasting your time and wasting their time. Because you just irritate people. You just get them to be angry. I remember the first time I went to the temple, I was a young man, walking. I got to the temple, and the first Sunday I had, the president of that temple, he was preaching, and there was one word he used, and that word made me to go and to ask him a question to explain what he meant. So some of the things that we tend to think that is so simple for us, it's not so simple for everybody out there. So there's so many things we can share with people about the philosophy. Don't put tags on people, or don't use what you are able to function on or to do as a way to embarrass other people there and tell them, because you're not doing like this like me, you're nonsense. Nobody's nonsense. So we have to be clever so that a number of people out there, they are small Hiranyakasipus. Small demons. They are doing the things opposite of the scriptural recommendations. So you don't go out there with your knowledge, with your information, with your realized knowledge, with your desired practices, and then you want everybody to be like you on the spot. They also have to undergo the purification. That is why we need to encourage people to come close so that they participate in the programs. Then they could become purified and then follow the path. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
You want to ask a question?
Yes.
Okay. Atma, your time is not finished?
You're fine, Maharaj.
Okay.
It's not a question, Mark. I wanted to just mention or just ask if I'm right or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So demon means it's more the nature. It's not like the soul or the person being demon or asura. Like from Nat Maharaj and Bali Maharaj.
Asura is a bhava. It's an emotion. I mean, it's like we have people who are endowed with, compassion. Some people, they are very, very uncompassionate. So it's a matter of, it's a characteristics. The demons, and then even the so-called demons, they could become transmuted. They could be changed into pure devotees. Yeah. So that's why I mentioned in part of my talk that the tendency is to think that demon is someone who has some hoods, on their heads, and they're emitting fire. Yeah, they could also have that. The real demons, they could also have all of these amazing, threatening, undesirable external looks. But then the thing is a mindset. I call it phenomenological mindset. It's a mindset that anyone, see, even just the desire, if you read that chapter on the divine and demonic natures, you will see the characteristics, even the desire to enjoy. Krishna said is demoniac. I'm Bogi, Siddham, Balawansuki. I am the enjoyer. I'm very powerful. It's a demoniac mindset.
Like Indra.
Yeah. So even the demigods, they could imbibe a demoniac mindset. It's something that any mindset, it's a mindset that we can imbibe. If we read the qualities of the demons, we see that we are all small demons. I am for sure. Because we're thinking, I should be the most powerful person. Yeah.
Name, fame.
Yeah. But there's nothing wrong. I don't see anything wrong in name and fame. But if we wanted to be able to, to outdo others in a wrong way, to humiliate them, that's not good. See, sometimes we misconstrue, we miscue the philosophy. I remember the case of one young Guru Koli in Vrindavan. So, this devotee, what's his name? I can't remember his name, but he wrote this book on Japa. One of the writers of this book on Japa. Yeah, Burjan was mentioning in one class he was giving, I think, back to Sanskrit class, how one of his students, one little boy in Vrindavan, the boy was not doing well in class, so he said that he advised him that he told him that you need to buckle up, you need to brace up because you're doing so poorly. And he said that, Prabhu, you see, if I excel, I'll become puffed up. Yeah, it's so easy to misconstrue the philosophy, to interpret it in a way. And we have ways of defending ourselves, even what we lack, something that is going to help us in the future. We just, another common thing is, is very common. You find people who in Krishna consciousness, they say, a number of people, they say, oh, Krishna will provide, Krishna will provide. Okay, no problem. Don't do anything and Krishna will be providing for you, okay? My question is, why did Krishna give you a big brain? Why did Krishna not shoot the arrows for Arjuna and at the same time be his chariot driver? He was his charioteer. He was not the archer. Arjuna was, he told Arjuna, you have to fight. I'll help you, but you have to do the fight. So, my query is, you're a devotee, good for you. But if you don't plan your life, you're planning to fail. One of my mentees in India, he's going in for his PhD in industrial design in Melbourne. So he was chatting with me the other day, and he said, because I pushed him to go to school. He was in the temple, and they were having so much of a fight. So when I went there, I told him, move out of this place. He was shocked. But now, he's so proud of that adventure. So, he sent me a message the other day that, Maharaj, I just watched, this Prabhupada movie. This current movie about Prabhupada. Yeah. And then, his comment? He said, apart from few people or few Prabhupada's old disciples, he said, all of the people interviewed are PhDs. I say it's good for you. And he said, so thank you very much. Sometimes we don't understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness, and we want to be lazy. We don't want to do anything. And we use the Krishna consciousness philosophy as a smoke screen. Oh yeah? All right. So, did I address the question? All right. Thank you very much. So we end up here, and
Anyone new have a question for Maharaj?
he doesn't want to leave me alone.
Anyone who's not been here before have a question you really want to ask? Otherwise, Maharaj will end now.
Okay. Any more questions or comments? It's one of the things I hate doing is to take the temple time. I don't want to take time. But in India, you give it a class and you ask the authorities that what time is this class going to end? They tell you, Maharaj, you're not in America. Just go on. Yeah, in India it's like that. Yeah, about the time they say you're not in America, just go on. No, but we have to consider people are coming from far places, and that's my consideration. And when we have a time frame, so I don't want to eat into the time, because although I'm very inconsiderate, but I'm very considerate in this case. This is not listening, okay? Any comments or questions? Otherwise, we have to, adjourn this meeting for some other time. All right, thank you very much for participating in this Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.